Hi, everyone. Welcome back to True Disabled Story. My name is Nico, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with floppy blonde hair, large blue and brown spectacles, and a pink tie-dye t-shirt underneath a dark green zip-up hoodie. I'm seated in front of an office wall. This is my work office. Like roughly 25% of Americans, 17% of Philadelphians, I'm disabled. And whether we look locally, nationally, or even globally, disability communities are full of dynamic, diverse, and frankly delightful people with their own stories to tell. All we have to do is listen. Before we began recording this morning, today's guest, Donna, and I were talking about how we were both born with some of our disabilities and discussed how we experienced that, uh, how we experienced those diagnoses through our lives. I'm really excited to speak with Donna today. Hi, Donna. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Nico. I'm thrilled to be here.
Of course. So, Donna, what was your path to diagnosis like? We know that you were born with one condition and then gained others throughout your life. Tell us about these experiences.
Thank you so much for the question because I thought about this a lot, and the different diagnoses that I've had throughout my life have had such a profound effect on me in incredibly different ways, some very negative and some incredibly positive. Looking at the positive one first, if we might, in 2020, I started having trouble with paying my bills, remembering to do it on time, to checking whether or not I had a doctor's appointment. There are two things that I have never done wrong in my life, Nico, and that is miss a doctor's appointment or miss a flight. My family lived overseas in the US territory of Guam, and I got my medical treatment in North Carolina at Duke University. So I'm used to flying and I'm used to lots and lots of different flights. But in 2020, I missed a flight by the skin of my teeth, and I missed two doctor's appointments. And I said, what is going on with me? And I also was having trouble finishing a thought, trying to find very basic words. For instance, I would call a horse a puppy, and I know what horses are, and I know what puppies are. I've had both, but yet every time I would look at a horse, I'd call it a puppy. And I knew that it was wrong. And I was just finding myself getting more and more frustrated. And so finally, I was living in LA at the time. I was a competitive athlete. And so even though I was not at Duke with my regular doctors, I said, I've got to go and get this worked out, only to find out that I had ADD. And I'm talking to doctors that I don't know very well, but I'm completely open to this because it's putting a diagnosis to what is going on in my life and the chaos that has absolutely just wreaked havoc on my life. And so I was thrilled. So the psychiatrist said to me, Donna, we're going to put you on very low levels of Ritalin. And I said, okay, let's do that. So we started, and I would meet with the doctor once a month. The problem is that I was meeting with residents. And so I would go to my next meeting, and it would be a new resident because the former resident has moved on. And so I'm noticing that the Ritalin is helping, but not enough. So they bump it up again. And finally, we're also, I should say, in the midst of COVID. And I'm living in a town in California that is not following protocols. LA has already started to talk about that they're rationing the ventilators. And I said, I'm out of here. I can't live in this kind of world and deal with a new ADD diagnosis. So I said, it's time to go back to North Carolina. I'm going to go see my doctors. So I went to go see my doctors who have followed me my whole life because of my spina bifida and other diagnoses that I've had. And I said, this is what I've been diagnosed with. I think the Ritalin's working. And my pediatrician said to me, we're going to send you for a whole battery of tests and we're going to start all over again like this has never happened. However, we are noticing that in individuals with spina bifida, that many of you actually do have ADD and it's very common. And so we're just going to go with, yes, this is a correct diagnosis, but we're going to start from scratch. So I go to see a neuropsychiatrist. They do the same battery of tests again. And not only did they say, yes, you do have ADD, but Donna, you also have anxiety. And I went, anxiety? What do you mean I have anxiety? I have a disability that I have dealt with my whole life. If there is one thing that I can handle stress. And the doctor had to explain to me, no, Donna, there's a very big difference between anxiety and stress. You will take a situation and blow it completely out of proportion before you actually enter into that situation. So you'll just decide that this could go horribly wrong. So I'm going to step out of it and I'm just not going to do it, or it's all going to go bad. That was the difference between stress and anxiety. But Nico, did I explain that correctly? I mean, a way that makes sense of how I view my anxiety, because sometimes I worry that I don't explain it well.
No, I think you do explain it very well. I find, when you were describing how you could potentially blow up a situation before you even engage with it, I really resonate with that. So you explained it very well.
Thank you. And also the reason why I asked is because they said what you need, Donna, is we're going to change your medicine from Ritalin to Adderall because we find that Adderall just works better for adults and we're not happy with the results that we're seeing with you. But we're also sending you to speech therapy and occupational therapy because we 100%, Donna, see where your anxiety is coming from in this. Yes, you are having speech problems. Yes, you are having memory deficits. And yes, you are having trouble just keeping your schedule together. And Adderall is not going to be a fix all for all of it. And they put me on some other medicines. I started going to speech therapy. I started going to occupational therapy. And Nico, it was like the sun came out. And because I didn't know what to expect, I just was so relieved that I had a diagnosis. I was just so relieved that doctors believed me. And I was just so relieved that there was going to be a treatment plan. So as all of these things start to come together and it's making more sense and I'm learning how to cope and learning strategies for everything from word searching to making sure I don't miss any more doctor's appointments to making sure that I get up when I'm supposed to. I'm just so relieved. And it's the most wonderful feeling in the world to just have that relief. And so now I'm 2 years to, oh, I'm almost 3 years into the process of working with my speech therapist. There have been times because of all of the new COVID rules where I haven't been able to access my Adderall and get a prescription filled. And I see how big a difference it has made in my life and how I must stay on my Adderall. That even though when I can't get my Adderall, I can find the positive in it because now I understand my diagnosis and what I need to lead a much healthier life mentally and emotionally. And that originally I just thought I was just an angry woman. No, I'm not an angry woman. I'm a stressed out woman with anxiety and ADD and a physical disability. And that has just been the most amazing, positive journey.
Donna, that's fantastic. You illustrate really well how this diagnosis or series of diagnoses helped you piece your mind back together, piece your whole world together, and give you answers for some questions that had been troubling you. There's also this weird dichotomy, right? Because you begin this process in 2020. So even as your world is stitching together and making more sense, the outside world at large is kind of falling apart, becoming more confusing. That must have been pretty weird. Toward the end of your answer, you begin to kind of illustrate more about the impact that these diagnoses have had on your life. You're nearly 3 years into this new treatment, this new regimen. So, and you also mentioned that you now see the difference between who you are when you are on your Adderall and who you are when you're off. What kind of impact? Can you further talk about these impacts that your diagnoses have had on your life? Do you get support from your social circle? Is there more understanding? What? How has your life changed now that you have these new diagnoses?
Positive side of it is that within the spina bifida community, I'm able to say to my friends when I see them posting, let's say on Facebook, about I'm going through these, I'm having these problems. that I had previously not had. And I can reach out to my friends and sometimes even just a perfect stranger with spina bifida and say, have you seen a neuropsychiatrist? Have you seen a psychiatrist? Have you spoken to somebody who's skilled in neurology issues and see if you have ADD? And I have had friends who've now gone and gotten an ADD diagnosis and went, "Oh, thank you, Donna. Thank you, doctors," because I couldn't find anybody who believed me because their general practitioners were going, "It's nothing wrong." And it helped my friends. So within my spina bifida community, within my friends who were disabled, I'm getting a ton of support. But I think we both can agree that that's not surprising that our community has rallied around us and our new diagnoses, and it's helped them step back and wonder, is this also what's going on with me? On the flip side, I'm extremely careful who I discuss my ADD with. And it has to do, I think, very much with my anxiety because I say, will this person take advantage of me? Will this person try to exploit this ADD that I'm still learning to live with? And it causes trust issues where I've always been a very trustful person, but we've all had friends who've wronged us or strangers who've tried to take advantage of us. And it's made me just not trust people. So I've been very careful, even within my own family. And I have a very close knit family on both sides. And I'm careful of who I discuss my ADD diagnosis with. So within my immediate family, they're supportive, but at the same time, they start to question, well, is this your ADD? Is this your anxiety? Could this, just you being a little too anxious about something? And that's unfortunate because then it makes me go, this is my reality and I'm explaining it to you. So we need to step back and question where you're coming from. And in some cases, they're right. Of yes, you're just being anxious on it. And in some cases, I'm going, you all need to believe me that this is my reality. And whether it to you it doesn't make sense or not, it doesn't matter. It's my reality. But again, it's getting that ADD diagnosis and understanding it, Nico, that has helped me get to a place where I go, no, this is my reality. Or no, Donna, your anxiety has gotten out of control in this situation. Let's examine it and figure out how to deal with it. So I do get support. I'm very lucky in that respect that really people haven't given me trouble, but I'm a lot less trusting of people who are not part of my very inner circle.
I really respect that. It can be tough to maintain boundaries among people that genuinely do want to support us.
Mhm,
So I really see how I don't want to say difficult, but how thoroughly you have to think about who you trust. That can take a lot of like
mhm,
brain power and also emotional power. So I respect that lift in you. Absolutely. I see it in myself too. I had been something of an anxious teenager, especially the transition from elementary school to middle school was particularly tough for
mhm,
me. And I had a similar situation with my family who had been up till then very understanding and my main means of support. But
mhm,
then navigating that stress with that life transition was a step too far for them, and that was tough for me to accept. All of that to say, I really sympathize with you, Donna. So
yes.
yeah, yeah, uh, Donna, I've really loved hearing your story, and I'm so thankful that you're sharing it with me, and then in turn, whoever sees this video. Um, I'm also someone who has a very vivid imagination. I love sci-fi, I love fantasy, and one of my main disappointments is that we haven't invented time travel yet. uh, but Donna, if we did invent time travel, if you could go back in time and advise your younger self, or even if we didn't have time travel and you could advise a younger person with spina bifida or somebody who is beginning their diagnostic journey, what advice would you give people with your diagnoses?
I would wish upon them, please try to love the skin that you are in. because especially when it comes to spina bifida, there is no cure. And we actually still understand so little about it. And for instance, there's different types of spina bifida. And even if you and I have the exact same type, it's going to present differently in us. And so we will find those differences and we'll also find the similarities. And it's hard because with spina bifida, you and I can be having this conversation. I am actually on the healthiest roll of my life. I have not had a spina bifida issue since 2012. And I'm 40, I've just turned 48 April 20th. So I'm still part of this, I'm part of the first generation to survive to adulthood. And I'm really proud of that. But at the same time, I'm losing friends that are younger than I am. And I'm smiling through that because I have to find the positive in these things. And you have asked me a question that brings me happiness because I want to be able to say to that younger person, I need you to be comfortable in your skin because there's so little that we understand about spina bifida and it changes all the time. And people are always going to judge you. We're always going to get judged for all kinds of things. But in our case, there's nothing we can do about this. You know, we were born this way. And I don't even know when I got to be comfortable in my skin. I think about it all the time, Nico, and I don't know when I got there because I can remember so many times where I just wanted to be like all the little girls and then all the college girls and all the high school girls. And at some point, I made that transition. So if I could just say to somebody with spina bifida, take a deep breath and realize that this is something that is not fault and you have to love this body that you are in. However, you get there is your journey, but you got to get there because it's once you get there when the spina bifida goes not so. Because that's the thing. Here's my thought process. I'm trying to speak slowly so that I keep it all together. But that's the thing is, so with spina bifida, I can be on this amazing roll and I could say goodbye to you and wish you well. And I'm in the hospital 10 seconds later. I mean, that's just the way it works. So, so please find a way to love yourself and all the problems that spina bifida can cause you because you've got to find a happiness. You've got to find some sort of balance when everything goes nuts because it is gonna go nuts. And that's what I would wish. That is the advice that I would want to give my younger self or somebody with spina bifida because I am at this point again at 48 where I'm so comfortable in my skin, but I am also so grateful for this role that I am on. But it also teaches me that I'm going to lose my friends and I'm losing them all the time. And I have to learn to just mourn that and deal with it and be grateful for the life that I have and the skin that I live in. All these lessons I have had to learn because of my spina bifida, and I'm grateful for it. So that's what I would want for somebody who is younger than I am with spina bifida.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. And I think it's advice that can go not only for folks in the spina bifida community, but in the disability community at large. I also have had a difficult time with like bodily self-acceptance and coming to a place of comfort within my own skin. So I see you in that. Absolutely. As we close our time together, Donna, I want to thank you again for taking part in True Disabled Story. And I want to give you a chance that I actually give all my interviewees, regardless of project. This is your chance, Donna, to promote yourself, shout out any special projects you have in the pipeline or any recent wins that you have. If folks wanted to connect with you, where could they find you online? This is your chance to really be your own cheerleader, step up on your soapbox, and shout out to the whole world. So I'm eager to hear it. Go for it.
Thank you very much, Nico. You can find me on LinkedIn at Donna Cruz Jones, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. I have not given as much time to Instagram as I had in the past because I used it socially, and I'm trying to build my presence back up there. but I would love it if people within the disabled community would reach out to me so that we could talk and learn and be a part of each other's lives. I'm very involved within the spina bifida community, but it is my hope that through LinkedIn and through all the other social media that I'm on, that I have a wider audience, that I'm able to be a influence within the disability community as a whole, and that I can learn, because one of the things that I'm so grateful for with LinkedIn is it's taught me all the things that I don't know about the disability community, and even just providing a social media platform that reaches all audiences with their accessibility needs. There's so little that I don't know, and sorry, there's so much that I don't know. And so this is my hope, that through interactions like this, in conversations with people who have different disabilities than me, but who are part of my community, that I can learn from you and that we can interact with one another, because that's my that would be my joy, if I could be more committed and connected to the disability communities. Also, please reach out to me on social media, on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, because it is my hope. If you allow me 2 seconds, I was reading this article where somebody was talking about, I don't want to leave a legacy. Legacies don't matter because people will forget you. I just want to be of help to my community while I am here. I want to have an impact on my community while I'm here, because I'm dead and gone, the chance is over. So that is my hope, that while I'm here and through interactions with you and other people in our community, that I can be of help. So thank you for this opportunity. I really enjoyed it, Nico.
I enjoyed it as well, Donna. Thank you again. All right. I'm rooting for you. Have a good rest of your day, of
Thank you. You too. Thank you, Nico.
course.